Let the people come on in the room.
Come on in the room.
Yes, yes, yes. Let the people come on. Let me make sure I share it to some of my other pages. You can do that too if you need to. We'll be starting in 5 minutes.
5 minutos. 5 minutos. Oh wow, I didn't know. Oh wait, never mind.
You didn't know what?
Will Packer produced the Oscars this year?
You know what? The Oscars had just kind of like snuck up on me. I didn't realize the Oscars was tonight, to be honest.
Me either.
I've been so busy.
I barely knew what day it was.
I know. Let the people come on in the room. Come on in the room. And the live stream will be starting very soon. Ah, I see the picture that you just sent me.
Oh yeah, so that's my setup.
I like your setup. I see what you got going.
You know, a little something.
Make it do what it do. I told you were gonna love that tripod though.
I literally have been using it since I got back. Like I haven't put it down.
It makes you shoot more, doesn't it?
I was like, oh snap, what else can I record?
I'm telling you.
And I meant to record the jacket I painted just now, recently, and forgot to record the second part. But one of the RAs was taking her graduation pictures. She was like, I have to tag you when I get my pictures back. She said people were stopping in traffic to ask me who made my jacket.
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
That's awesome.
Right. I was like, wow, well, I'm glad you liked it, girl.
It's nothing like a custom made.
Right. Because she saw one that, you know, she had inspiration. She's like, but this one isn't as cute as I want it to be. I said, don't worry, I got you.
3 minutes. Doing a little housekeeping. If you are logged on already, make sure you go ahead and like. If you're watching us on YouTube, like. Make sure you subscribe. Okay? And hit that notification bell. Come on, you can do it. 1, 2, 3. Hit like, hit that thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Hit it for the Brown South girls. We'll be starting very, very soon. Like 2 minutes. 2 more minutes.
2 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on.
What you know about that?
I really like that song.
Come on now.
Yikes.
All right. Just a little more housekeeping. Welcome. Come on in the room. Contact all of your friends, your mama, your aunts, your sisters, your cousins and them. All of the brown girls that you know, the black women in your lives. Get ready. We're going to come in here. We're going to do a little, some of you all could be watching a little pre-Oscars. So we'll let this be like a little pre-Oscars, all right? Some brown girl, black girl magic. Couple more minutes, 1 more minute. 1 minute. It's time for us to get this thing going. Real soon. Some housekeeping. Make sure you hit that like. Go ahead and share it on your page. Let's get going. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
How y'all doing? I am one half of the Brown South Girls. I am the mother of this dynamic duo. I'm Miss Tanya.
And I am the daughter of this dynamic duo, KJ.
What's up, KJ?
What's up, Miss? Can I call you Miss Tanya? Can I do that?
You know, I hadn't thought about that, but seeing that we're gonna stay within a little respect of respect, I think you could call me mama. I don't mind.
Hello, mother. How art thou?
I'm good. Good to see my baby.
Good to see you too.
It is. It is. See, what people don't know, but I think they kind of figured it out. We're not obviously not in the same location. You know,
No.
no, we're in different states, but we still get to come on and share with each other. So we don't see each other as much as we used to. But every time that I get an opportunity to see you, it's just joyful.
It is. It really is.
So, listen, we made it to another end of the month. Let's
We
give some thanks
did.
and praises. Woo!
Whoop, whoop.
I'm telling you, these Sundays, the last time we said it, the first time we said it, but this last Sunday comes around very, very quickly.
It does. It really does.
I don't know where the time goes.
Me either. Last time it was February, so I understood it was a short month. But this time, it sped up on us for real.
A total conspiracy. Now, we got some things we want to talk about. This month is March, Women's History Month. So that's a really, really great thing. We at the Brown South Girls, we want to celebrate all of the women that we know. I want to celebrate my mother, my grandmother, my aunts, my sisters, of course, my daughter, my nieces, my cousins, my good girlfriends. You know, I want to just celebrate all of us. There's just a lot of magic that we're able to share with the world, and we deserve to be celebrated.
Yes, we definitely do. Love to
Is
see it.
there is there somebody you want to celebrate?
Well, most of your list was actually my list too. We share a few of the same folks, just a couple different titles. But I definitely also just want to shout out, other than my family members, my girlfriends as well, my wonderful coworkers that are women, coaches that I've had that were women. Did a great thing. Did a great job.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just kind of like when we were getting ready for the show, you reminded me that tonight is the Oscars.
Hmm.
And that snuck up on me too, because I really didn't know that. I really didn't know
Same.
it. I've been out of the loop.
Same. I have not been able to keep up with what's going on when, and honestly, if it wasn't for social media, I probably still wouldn't have known.
Yes, I don't know who's nominated. I don't know who's in what categories. Like I have, when I tell you that I have no idea, and this is very different for me because, as you know, I very much celebrate film and media. I love the arts. So this is probably the first year in a long, long time that I have no idea what's going on. Like none.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I will say, now that I work at FAMU, one of our alum produced the Oscars, so we definitely got to watch it.
Come on now, Will
Will
Packer.
Packer.
Oh
Hmm.
wow, they got now. See, I'm definitely going to make sure that I watch. I do know this that I think they have three women who are hosting this year, so that's going to be
Yes,
very new.
they
Do you
do.
remember who it was? Maybe I can look it up online. Maybe I can look it up. Do
Which
you remember?
No, no, wrong name. Where am I? Bring it back.
I have
I
no
can, I can see
idea.
their faces because I remember the commercials, but I couldn't remember what the commercial was for. But there are three very funny women. Wow, it has left my mind.
I'm gonna look it up. Look it up. Look it up.
Thank goodness for the internet, I tell you that.
I know it's a good thing. That's what it's for.
Hmm.
Now, why is it taking me so long to find the host?
Because technology works until it doesn't.
Ah, oh wow. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Hold on, hold on. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all who is going to be a part of this thing. Can you see my screen?
Sure can.
Regina Hall.
Okay, I was right. I didn't want to mess up her name because my words come out too fast sometimes.
Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumacher.
Oh yeah, this gonna be
Funny,
good.
funny, funny. I love all of these women. Wow. Yeah, this is definitely an Oscars to watch for sure.
Oh,
Definitely an Oscars to
definitely.
watch. Wow. Three women hosting. Come on.
I love to see it.
I will. I will. Now, we've had some interesting things going on in the news, something that we can
Mhm.
celebrate again for women's history. Go ahead and say a name because I know you know what I'm talking about.
I can, Katanji Jackson.
Come on.
Hmm.
Say that name one more time.
Ketanji, just in case, a few folks didn't know how to pronounce it. Jackson, she might be our cousin. Mhm.
She might be.
She might be.
Well, if she's not, let's just go ahead and claim her. Go ahead and
Right.
claim her as a cousin.
Hey,
Let me tell you.
cousin.
Yes, 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 yes. I want to bring matter of fact, let me share my screen again so we can take a look here. Okay. These hearings have been just absolutely whew, woo was a good thing to say.
Yeah.
Whew, a mess. A mess. Some of the things that we saw have just been really crazy. If you look at some of her expressions on here, you can kind of see she's like, okay, all right, I hear
Hmm.
what y'all asking.
I make that face a few times a day.
Okay, let me ask you something. I make that face in my life more than a few times a day, and I feel like all of us do as Black women. But you know
Yeah.
how they have like interpreters,
Hmm.
sometimes, and they have sign language interpreters. What would have
Hmm.
been really interesting for this hearing if they could have had, like, I felt like I wanted to interpret some of her facial expressions and emotions,
Yes,
really,
definitely.
because they asked her
Definitely.
some of the same questions over and over
Hmm.
about the same subject. And I got to really give my hats off to her because she remained composed. She took her time. She was very thoughtful and just kind of very deliberate about her answers.
Hmm.
And to be honest, you have to be. I mean, this
Yes.
is for a Supreme Court, position. So, you have to be very thoughtful. And of course, this is a very intelligent woman. And I was thinking about when, they kept asking her those questions, and she just take a little breath. She'd like, and I just wanted to interpret that for her. I
Hmm.
really did. I just wanted people to know, like, listen, you know what? You done asked me the same question over and over. Now, I don't know what they teach you to get your little home economics degree, but you're really asking me a stupid ass question right now. But I'm going to answer it
Hmm.
like I had before. I'm a mother.
Right.
Understand it. I'm a mother. I'm a woman. So understand, I know what you may be feeling. But don't you ask me this question no more.
Precisely.
I really did.
Precisely.
Anybody could see from her just her facial expressions, her gestures, because communication is about more than just verbal communication. You got to
Hmm.
watch that body language. And I know that
Yes.
all of us, we knew what that meant.
Hmm.
But how do you feel about the whole situation?
So I haven't watched all of them, but I've definitely watched a few. And like you said, I definitely commend her for keeping her composure because even watching the pieces of the hearing, I was getting frustrated. I'm like, okay, can you let her talk? Like, let's give her a chance to answer the question before you kind of just jump down her throat again. And, just I felt like they were almost badgering her, but I'm not a huge person in politics. So maybe that's how they normally are. Maybe not, because I mean, we can't forget that she is a Black woman. So I was just, it was a lot, definitely, but I think my favorite moment and just the favorite photo that is circulating right now is her daughter looking at her with so much pride and so much joy. Because I think as children, like we always want our parents to be proud of us, but when you get that moment when you can just genuinely be proud of your parent, it's a really good feeling. And I'm really great that there was a photographer there that caught that moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hadn't thought of that because when she was speaking, I remember a part of her speech, and she was saying, there were times when she couldn't have, you know, just because of her job, the nature of what she does, and the demand for such the work hours and the work ethic it
Mhm.
takes to get where she's gotten. She was like, maybe um, I wasn't the best mother. I couldn't be at everything. I couldn't be at all of the events. I had to miss certain special things. And so, for me as a mother, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, because I don't think a lot of people think about that. And I know that a lot of women, especially not just today, but just any time, women are thinking about having their careers. Some want to have a high power career, but you have to think about, what am I giving up for that? Some things you're going to have to sacrifice because, like she said, you won't be able to make some of those special events. You won't be at every recital or every sports event. You may even miss some special birthday parties. I don't know, but I can't imagine, the amount of hours and work that it takes to get where she's gotten, and also be a mother and a wife, because that's very
Mhm.
demanding to run a family and a household and be in such a high powered position.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I mean, all I have to worry about right now is me, and even that is a lot. But I can definitely see from that picture, like, not only can you tell that she's a woman who loves what she does, but you can see that she loves her daughter and that her daughter felt it, because that was just, she was so happy for her mom. And I was like, girl, I feel you because I'm happy for my mama too. So yeah, it's a lot to be a professional woman. I can only imagine what it's like to be a professional wife, mother, all of that in one. So my hat's off to all of the moms out there who are working hard, doing what they love and loving their families as well.
Yes, definitely. Because let me ask you this. Like I was saying, a lot of people feel like they want these high power, six figure, seven-figure careers. And I know that they're not thinking about the amount of work that it takes when you're in that type of career. We're talking about people who probably work anywhere from a 70 to 80-hour work week,
Yeah.
you know? So I feel like as women, you have to decide, okay, is this what I want to do?
Hmm.
And if I want to do this, how am I going to be able to balance it? And so that's where it's important to understand, choosing the correct partners, because you've got to
Hmm.
have a partner who is going to be there to support you with family, especially with children. So
Hmm.
you got to think about that. And
Yeah.
let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Um, like a lot of people, like I said, they want the high powered career, but what about people who, and women who work careers that are not necessarily high powered in terms of pay? Because we have women who are in education and they choose
Hmm.
careers that are not six-figure careers or seven-figure careers, but they're very successful and they're very happy in their career. And they're allowed to have their families, they're allowed to perhaps be a wife and a mother as well. And
Hmm.
they're happy with their life. What do you think about something like that? Is it necessary to be in a high figure paying position?
Honestly, I feel like it's up to the woman. I mean, as children, we kind of, well, depending on how you grow up, you either see the people in your family, the women in your family choosing their careers, whether it's a high power career, whether they're in education, or if you have the opportunity to have a stay at home mom, you kind of see that. And then on TV, social media, especially today, you kind of see all these different avenues. So I think it's really just about what you want to do and the support that you have in following your dream. I think that's really important. So at one point in my life, I did want to be a lawyer. When I was like little, it changed real fast though. But I think, just having that support and knowing that my family believed in my dreams of being a lawyer and like, yeah, you can do it, then that's going to drive me to continue to be a lawyer. But as my aspirations changed. And now in the career that I'm in, still having that support allows me to be happy in this career, not feeling like, oh, I have to go do something where I make six figures. I'm happy doing something that I love because I'm able to make a difference, and that's what is mattering to me. So I really think it just depends on what you saw growing up and the support that you had, really.
Absolutely. And as a woman, let me ask you again, do you feel like, okay, you got the support that you felt like you needed, but do you feel like there's less pressure for a woman to be in a high power position than it is for a man?
So I feel like it might be less pressure from society, but I think it's definitely more pressure on the woman because she has to work so many times harder than the men to get in those positions, to stay in those positions, and to even move up in those positions. So while it's not like, oh, yeah, you have to go out and get this six-figure job and be an executive CEO, when you are in that field, it's hard. So that pressure is still there. It's just not coming from, kind of your direct circle as you have to do it. But now it's like,
Right,
okay, you're here, you have to succeed, and we're not going to make it easy for you to do that.
right.
So,
Okay. I feel like you're right. I can't even really add too much more to that. I just feel like as a woman, there is a lot less pressure in terms of what should I say? I feel like you just have more of a choice. It's not an
mhm,
expectation. So, in terms of the demand of the work, yes, but in terms of expectation, I don't feel like it's a great expectation on us because naturally a lot of the times, and if we're going to go by society norms and what's out there, men are typically expected to be
mhm,
the breadwinner and the provider. They're to provide and to protect, so I feel like it's a lot more pressure on them for that.
mhm,
um Also, as women, I feel like if we go out here, we have an opportunity to discover some of the things that we want to do. And a lot of the times, if a woman go out here and she decides, okay, well, I tried this, and you absolutely should try anything that you want to do. And if it doesn't
yeah,
work out and you feel like you want to change your course of direction, you can do that. And a lot of times that requires for you to go back home,
mhm,
and that's not a bad thing. It's always a great thing when you have a nice place to lay your head, to be able to put some thought into your next plan, because what you thought was going to work didn't work for you, or you chose to take a different direction. And I feel like women get an opportunity to do that. I don't know so much that men can do that. And if men do that, I feel like they would get a lot more pressure from society because they wanna know, like, what is a grown man doing in his mama house or in his parents' house?
right.
What do you think about that situation?
No, I think you're totally right. It's so much more acceptable for a woman to go home, regroup, refind herself. But if a man is doing the same thing, then automatically, oh, he's not doing enough or something must be wrong. Like, why is he still at home? When it could be the exact same situation. He needed to regroup, he needed to refine himself, he needed to start over, or whatever the situation may have been. I think it should be okay for a man to do it just as well as it is for a woman.
Absolutely. I agree. It's just that that society is gonna
Hmm.
frown upon that, and make the men feel, really, they make them feel bad. I gotta
Right.
say, I love being a woman. I wouldn't
Yeah.
wanna change that at all. If I had to do it all again, I'd wanna be a woman again. It's just so, I love the opportunities that we have to be a different type of parent than a father would be. There's quite obviously, because we give birth. So that's just a natural, different bond that you have. So I love that opportunity.
Hmm.
Not quite, frankly, being a mother does not make you a woman, and you don't have to be, it doesn't define you as a woman. It's just an opportunity that you may have or you may choose to have, that I feel like, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you a question here, and this might be a little crazy, because are you aware of this guy Kevin Samuels?
The name sounds very familiar, but I am not picturing a face. What does Kevin do?
Okay,
Wait.
I'm aware of him, but I don't really know a whole lot about him. But I've just seen a lot of people responded to some things. I think
Mhm.
he's a content creator.
He's the
Um,
relationship man.
yes,
Oh, Kevin.
he deals with relationships, and he talked a
Yes.
lot about women, and I guess he's given women some advice, giving men
Mhm.
advice in terms of relationships. Um, but I've seen a lot of people responding to that. So like when I stroll through YouTube, I just see a lot of people talking about the things that I guess that he kind of generated conversation around.
Mhm.
And one of the big conversations happened to be women who are looking for high-powered men, who
Mhm.
want men who like the men we were talking about. Men are pressured to make the six figures, seven figures. They want these men who are making high salaries. What
Mhm.
is your thought process on women who are strictly targeting that?
Whew. I don't know if I actually thought about that one before. Honestly, though, I feel like if you are going to target that demographic of men, it is important to understand what comes with it. Granted, I'm not 100% sure, but knowing that there is so much pressure on them to be in those positions and so much pressure on them for them to succeed, I think it's important as a woman who is pursuing that type of man to make sure that you are able to, be there to support him, to kind of help him go through some of the emotions that he may go through behind closed doors, because he's going to have so many people against him. So he's going to need somebody in his corner, and just being genuine about your intent. I think anybody's intent for dating someone, regardless of what their business stature is or where they are in the workforce, is just you need to be genuine in what you want and what you're willing to give in a relationship and what you're willing to take as well. So, yeah, I think that's about it.
Right.
Hmm.
I've just been hearing that conversation and hearing so many
Yeah.
women having opinions about that.
Hmm.
And you're right. You're absolutely right, because you have to think about there are certain things that a man who is in that high power position, there's certain things that he may be looking for in a woman, and
Hmm.
you really have to be the type of woman, like you say, who can support that. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
can't, think about, and I can't imagine this working. I don't know. There may be some people who do it, and there's always going to be, people who stand out. But if you
Hmm.
think about, and especially if we think about a black man in that position, it's
Hmm.
they're already 1% or the lower percentage of income earners.
Hmm.
So if you think about the black men in that pool, it's a very small pool. So every woman cannot be going after this same man
Right.
or this same type of man. And if you are, what are you bringing to the table? And by that, I don't mean another high powered career.
Hmm.
Because think about it. If I'm high powered, I like to make decisions and I want to do things my way, and he's high powered and he wants to make decisions and do things his way. That's not a relationship. That's not how it works. And for me personally, I don't want to marry someone who's like me or be in a relationship with someone who is like me. That's essentially like marrying yourself.
Hmm.
I,
And
I, I want to mate, someone who is going to bring different qualities and bring different things to the table. And I'm bringing different things to the table. So, hey, we've got our table full here.
right.
We can't bring the same thing. So when I look at these women who have these false expectations of having this type of man, wondering if they should be submissive and all of these different questions that they're asking, I'm like, when you apply for a job, right, it
Hmm.
has certain qualifications. And if you're not qualified for that job, or you don't fit the description of the duties that to be fulfilled in that job, you're not hired, right?
Right.
So why is it that some women have this expectation of being in a relationship with a high powered man but they don't want to deal with the qualifications that come along with that type of job
Mm-hmm.
because you got to meet the qualifications. You can't change it
Right.
up.
Exactly. And I
Absolutely.
mean, and I think about it like this too, because I love food and I like analogies. If we're both bringing home the bacon, all we're gonna have is clogged arteries. So I'm gonna need some balance, in life. So if you want to bring the bacon, I'll bring some fruit, vice versa. But like, we can't be bringing the same thing. So
We
it's good, like you
can.
said, to switch it up and to bring different things to the table, so that now we have a complete meal.
Absolutely. And I know like when I was growing up, there was this old commercial, and it was like the guy brings home the bacon and I'll fry it up in the pan. You know,
Hmm.
somebody who's cooking the bacon. First of all,
Right.
we just bringing home bacon. What are we doing with the bacon?
Unless you have a chef, then that's different.
Which is true. And with a high-powered family and figures like that, you very well could have a chef.
Hmm.
And listen, I just like anyone else, I want to be pampered. I'd like to be taken care of, but I want to give those things. I want to be able
Hmm.
to provide something as well. I'm not,
Yes.
you can't just expect to take.
Hmm.
Really can't. I mean, I'm a mother of a daughter and I'm a mother of a son. So just like I wouldn't want someone to take advantage of my son if he's out here, doing his best to provide and to protect and to make sure that he takes care of himself and his family. I
Hmm.
really wouldn't want him to be in a situation where, he's just doing everything and someone is just there.
Right.
Doesn't make any
Right.
sense. And I'm not raising a son to take that. And then I'm not raising a daughter to be that.
Hmm.
You understand? So I
Yeah.
feel like people kind of need, especially women, our Black women, think about what it is that you can bring to it. Is cooking
Hmm.
really that bad? And if you can't cook, like you said, you can be a chef, but you can't
Right.
both bring the same things. We don't want to clog arteries with everybody bringing bacon.
Unless you married a doctor who happens to be a cardiologist, then do your thing.
Well, that would be good. And guess what? And you probably need to be into some type of health fitness and be doing some exercise yourself.
Right.
You know what? Mm, before we get way, because last time we didn't talk about the subjects that we were supposed to talk about. I know you
You're
got some
right.
notes.
I do.
What we want to discuss here today? Throw something out, throw something at me. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so this first one is really random, but I just need to put it out there in the universe so that I am not the only person discovering this. So I recently learned that the and symbol, the one that kind of looks like a treble clef but backwards, is called an ampersand. Now I don't know how many people knew that, like genuinely knew that, and use that word every day. Like, do you use it in a sentence? Do you use it in place of the symbol? I don't know. But just the fact that it's not called the and symbol was mind boggling to me. And I was like texting my friends, even my brother, and I was like, did you know this? Because I thought it was just the and sign. So I had to put that as a topic so I could educate anybody else who needed to know.
Let
The
them
and
know
symbol is called an ampersand.
an
Hmm.
ampersand. So
Crazy.
basically,
And I might have said the word wrong.
you know what? I didn't know that.
Ampersand, no T. Hmm.
Okay, okay, okay. I didn't
Hmm.
know. So
Me
thank
neither.
you.
Who would have
Thank
thunk?
you. Thank you. That was just a little educational moment.
Just a little fun fact.
Just in case I'm ever on some type of useless trivia game. Hey, I know that.
Or Jeopardy, because sometimes they throw out some questions and it's like, wait, I learned that on the Brown South Girls. Y'all are welcome.
Okay. But
Um,
guess what? If I said the and sign, you know exactly what to type on the typewriter, don't you?
right, the typewriter.
Okay, so I'm a little old. I meant
Wait, we could at least said the computer.
okay, the computer, your
Yes.
keyboard,
Oh, the keyboard. There we go. The keyboard.
your phone. You know how to get the and
Hmm.
sign.
Right. I know how to get to the and sign. I would not have known how to get to the ampersand. That just
All
blows
right.
my mind.
Jeez. And you really wrote that as a subject.
No, I really did. I felt like people needed to know. If I learned something as an adult and it wasn't just this profound knowledge, I'm going to share it because I don't want any other adults out there to not know. You got to
Thank
stand
you.
together.
I've lived so
Mhm.
many years, and that's why they say you can learn something new every day. I just learned.
Mhm. Right.
What else you got in your notes?
So, back on the serious note, and since we were just talking about, men in high power and women in high power, it actually has been a pretty kind of ongoing topic that I've been seeing on social media, especially with the Supreme Court cases right now, about women being in high power and the type of husbands they end up having, specifically Black women, and how it has been noticed that a lot of them end up marrying white men. And the same
Mm,
for men in high power. They they tend to marry women outside of their race. And so I kind of went with that to like the hyper masculine male ego type thing. Catch
mm-hmm,
my drift. Like, why
mm-hmm.
is it that a powerful Black woman can't be with a Black man? Like, what is it that is just that makes such a disconnect?
Wow. Wow. I think it's some of those things we kind of touched a little bit on earlier. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine a man who is in a high power position, who is a high powered man, looking to be with a woman who is very much like him. Again, you're marrying
Yeah.
someone like yourself. Men like that tend to want a woman who is, and people throw around submissive a lot, and I don't know necessarily that they're really using that in the right way. I mean, submission to what?
Mm-hmm.
So be clear and define what that means to you. But I just feel like you can't have, both of you can't bring home the bacon. You said it. You can't. These men are so masculine and hyper masculine, and they don't want to be with a woman who is expressing those same traits.
Mm-hmm.
If you're
Yeah.
like a hyper masculine type of a woman, that's not attractive to a man like that. He is looking for someone who is feminine, who is very much into to displaying her feminine side, because we all have masculine and feminine traits,
Yeah.
and you can, use them accordingly within your workplace, within your home environment, but that's not what they're looking for. Period. If you don't have the qualifications for the job, if you don't like the job description, don't apply.
Right. And on the topic of jobs, I've also just noticed a lot of men in positions of, we'll say, of power to an extent, even still don't know how to deal with women in the workforce. And I won't even say women who are powerful, but just women who know what they're doing, like boss women. And it's been a very interesting experience navigating the workforce and having to not only just prove that I can do the job that I applied for outside of, my resume and the qualifications that got me hired, but now I have to deal with someone who is in a position to help me grow, but is quote unquote intimidated by what I already have. And so, like, what do you think about that? Like, how have you experienced that, or how would you navigate that even?
That's very interesting. And the bottom line is that comes to confidence as well.
Mhm.
That really comes down to confidence. When people are not sure of who they are, when they're not confident within their own position, because there are people who hold positions, and they, believe it or not, still don't have the highest level of confidence,
Very
because there's
true.
no reason for anyone to be intimidated by a coworker.
Hmm.
No reason. The only reason that I can think of is if they're just not confident. They may not be confident because some people are afraid of losing their position, losing something. Maybe they see something, but once again, that comes back to what?
Confidence.
It comes right back to confidence. So to me, that's what that's about. Um, you just have certain men who are going to be intimidated by that because they feel like women will take their position because women are doing things, as you see, women are in positions that men have held for the longest of
Mhm.
time. And so they feel like they're being pushed out. And to be honest, if we're going to be honest about it, it's really tough for Black men out here. And that percentage of the higher income earning of Black men, that's a very low percentage rate. So there's some fear there. So
Yeah.
I kind of understand where there could be a little bit uneasiness,
Mhm.
but there's nothing like confidence. You've got
Yeah.
to build a person, whether they're a male or a female.
Mhm.
You've got to build that. A lot of the times we do hear about it where it's a woman on woman situation where they might have a
Mhm.
little tug of war in that type of space, but both of them are the same thing to me. It's about
Mhm.
confidence.
Yeah, it really is. Especially when it comes to, like you said, the woman and woman. I I don't think I've ever gone into a job with the fear of losing my position. I think that's a good thing. Just because I know my work ethic and I know what I'm there for, I know what I'm there to do, and I'm of course going to do my job. But even still, if another woman comes into the position who wants to essentially either be where I am or go beyond, I'm going to do my best to help her if she asks for it, if she needs some guidance. Of course, I got your back. Like, we're in this together. And I also want to learn from her as well because I feel like a part of that confidence is being able to learn from people who work under you. Because if you feel like all you're there to do is just tell people what to do, then you're going to be intimidated when someone who you supervise is trying to tell you something that might be a good idea, might be a good direction to take, and you didn't come up with that idea. So I love to keep that open communication, that kind of open door policy. We're going to learn from each other. I'm not going to be intimidated by you. And hey, if you have the qualifications to come up and take my position, my goal is to move up as well. I don't go in a job thinking, yeah, I'm going to work here in this current position for the rest of my life. I do have aspirations to move up and to experience different things, different levels of work, different career options. So I think it's best to just kind of, like you said, have that confidence,
It
know who you are and
is.
what you bring to the workforce.
It is. And that's what I was going to say. See, that's you. That's your
Yeah.
confidence. But how does one really become confident? How does one become confident in their position?
hmm So I think I'll go back to having my first job. Because at that point, I don't think I was confident necessarily work wise, but just how I was raised and growing up, I was confident enough to know that I could do the job, right? Like I knew I could go in there and I could do what was listed on this paper that I submitted on this application. I said I could do it. I knew I could do that. I can handle these bullet points. And if anything else is thrown my way, I'm not afraid to ask questions or learn, or like go learn, go figure it out. So that's kind of how I attacked my first job. And then once
See,
I got in the role and
hold
kind
on.
of,
Stay
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Hold on 1 minute. Hold on one
Hey, I'm
minute.
gonna
You
try.
said something. You said something really key. You said you things that you didn't know. You weren't afraid to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who get in positions and they're fearful because they don't want anybody to know that they don't know something. So that could
Yeah,
have something to do with it as well.
it could. Which is interesting for me, especially because, like, in school, I really wasn't the kid to ask questions in class. Like, I would just wait for somebody else to ask or try to figure it out. But when I got in the workforce, it was like, I need to know what I'm supposed to do because I want to make sure I do this right.
Right.
So I guess that was just something I grew into for sure. But yeah.
Great. Hey, I see we got a couple people in the
Yes.
chat here. All right, we got Kevin Mullins. Black girls, you rock.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes, Kevin, thank you. See, you got to have men like this who are supportive to women out here. I mean, he's a father, a husband, just a guy who's always been supportive. And a lot of the things that I've been doing in the community, I support him and what
Mhm.
he and his wife are doing. Um, cool guy. Thanks,
Love
Kevin.
it. Thank you.
Who else we got in here? Ah, Latifa.
Hello.
Hey, ladies. How you doing, lady? Good to see you. Uh-oh. I know this guy, Cornelius. See, you got to understand what that means. Cornelius. That's like a little play on Don Cornelius Encore. What's up,
Mhm.
Encore?
Wow, that is. Oh, snap. I like that name.
That's a
Hey.
little play. And not only that, what y'all need to know is that he actually produced our theme song. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Come on,
Matter of fact,
Cornelius.
we just started talking. We just got in here and started talking, and we didn't even show our intro, which
Oh,
has
snap.
the theme song that he did. So you know what I'm gonna do?
We got to run it back.
We're gonna I'm gonna play it right now. Here we go.
Hmm.
Let me let y'all know who Cornelius is. Come on. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out.
Shout out to Cornelius, producer for the track. Our little jingle, our little opening. Gotta thank you for it, man. I love that thing.
Me
Sometimes,
too.
like I'll just hear it in my mind. I'll be going throughout my day, and I can just hear it. Bump, bump, bum. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah. Definitely
I
makes
love
me
it.
miss playing the saxophone too. So I love it though.
Girl, you did not go back to when you was up there playing the saxophone.
I did because I was playing that saxophone for those 2 years.
Oh, I remember seeing my little girl walk with that big saxophone case going to the bus stop. Whew.
Ooh, the struggle. That thing was heavy, and I was small.
Funny days, funny days. You know what? You said I know and this is just off track and off beat for no reason. But you were talking about earlier how you had aspirations of being a lawyer. So when you
Hmm.
took me back when you were a little girl with the saxophone, you know what I just thought about?
What?
You remember when you wanted to be a mortician?
Yes, it's crazy because I was actually telling my friends about that not too long ago. And I've had this conversation a lot this year, actually. I was talking to my friends about it, and I was talking to one of the RAs at my job about it because somehow they got on the topic of mortuaries being a lucrative business, which,
Right.
I mean, it is, circle of life. And this particular business student, was like, I could sell caskets as a side hustle. And so I was like, I wanted to be a mortician when I was a kid. But that
Yes.
dream also changed very fast. Hmm.
But it was so funny to me because to hear, people ask little kids what they want to be when they grow up, and
Hmm.
they typically say a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. And I mean, you very boldly I mean, not even skip a beat, a mortician. I was
And I
like,
don't even know why.
I don't either. So I was just wondering if you could remember, if you did remember, but trust me, I remember when my baby girl wanted to be a mortician. Still not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Not a bad thing.
Just, I don't know. I mean, I love people, I really do. But I also love my time to myself. So the only thing that could make sense to me and my childlike mind is if I'm a mortician, nobody's going to bother me. I just get to go to work. I get to do my job. I get to hopefully bring people some type of peace, a little bit of joy in a bit
Oh
of
my goodness.
darkness and go on about my day.
For some
I th-
reason, I don't think you were really thinking about it in all those technical terms at that young age,
I could have
but
been.
you could, maybe you were, maybe you were, but you can
I knew I
still do
wanted
it.
to help people. I didn't know why I wanted to help the non-living version, but I was like, yeah, I can do this. Mm-mm. Went to the funeral home with my great grandma one too many times. Yeah, I think I'll do something else.
Oh
Hmm.
wow, 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 wow. That was funny.
It
Too
was.
funny.
Whew, good times. Good
It
times.
was. I want to let people know, I want to put a little message out there because next
Hmm.
month, April, is going to be National Poetry Month and jazz, in fact. So for National Poetry Month, I am looking to just have a lot of celebration with poets coming up during the month. And I had this idea. You got to tell. We haven't talked about it yet, so we're going to talk
Oh, that's
about it
fine.
now. I'm
Hmm.
asking now. What I was thinking about doing is, I got my book,
Yes.
The Little Black Book
Hmm.
of Poetry, and thank everybody who's been buying the book. I love it. I love you guys. I love your support. But what I want to do for the month of April is read the book in its entirety.
Oh.
I want to
Oh,
do that
can I
online.
pick the one I want to do? Wait,
Well,
am I invited?
well, you know, I did say I, but
Oh,
since you
you.
included yourself in that,
Just kidding.
you made me think about a little something different. I like that idea. But what I was thinking about doing is like just come on and do a live and just each morning or whatever time of the day that I decide to do it and I just read the book.
I like
So
your idea.
everybody gets a free reading of the book. People who haven't had an opportunity to get it yet, you get an opportunity to hear some of the poetry from it. So you guys, that's what I want to do for you. More on Cornelius. You understand?
Those are some vibes.
You understand? He understand us.
He really does. I
He
like
does.
that.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the screen, and you know what? I did a little something like if you notice my lighting has changed since we started the show because I
Mm-hmm.
forgot to close the blinds on my sliding
Oh,
glass door. And so now the sun is setting back here behind me.
behind you.
So I got a little funkiness going on. And I'm not just going
Mm-hmm.
to get up and stop the show to close them or anything. But if you all were wondering what was going on, that's what was going on.
We're just gonna enjoy the South Carolina sunset. That's all.
Like, I wanted you to feel at home.
Right.
Exactly. What else you got? I know you got something else in your notes. Talk to me.
So I wrote this down, and I probably should have given myself a little more context because I don't know where I was going with this one. But I wrote down things that you've learned as an adult that felt like stuff you should already know. Now I don't know what made me write that. It could have been the
Ooh.
ampersand. But I think there are also a lot of things that we learn as adults that it feels like it really should have been common knowledge, but it's better to learn it late than never.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Interesting.
that was my last
Interesting.
one.
Things you should say that again.
Things you've learned as an adult that I'll phrase it this way. Things you've learned as an adult that when you learned it, you felt you should have known it sooner.
You should have known it sooner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I have a few that aren't like serious.
Come
but
on.
I did learn as an adult that the tray under the oven that I thought in life was to hold the lids to your pots and pans is actually to keep food warm. And I was just, I was astonished even because I just knew deep down in my soul that that is where you keep the lids to your pots and pans.
Well, first of all, in our culture, it
It
is.
is.
So
because
that's
mine are
why.
definitely down there right now.
Right. And where did you learn that?
At home. Oh, wait, did I learn the pots and
Exactly.
pans? At home.
You learn that at
Sure
home.
did.
Exactly. Because that's what we do.
Right.
So who needed to know that it was a food warmer? Who needed to know that?
I want to know who found out it was a food warmer.
Well,
That's my question.
first of all, there
Oh,
always was. I want to know who
you're
decided
right.
to start putting pot
Who
lids
decided?
and
Right. Because
who
does that
made
mean
that?
every time we use the oven, our pot lids are getting hot?
Well, no, not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
But you know how you can find out.
Because I already
Turn
burnt
on your
myself this
oven.
morning with some steams. I'm good.
Wow, I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to think of something. You got me.
Right. I think I got myself. When we have our conversations just in regular everyday life, we just get to talking. And
We
I
do.
think I'm pretty sure it was something very profound that made me write that down in conversation. And knowing me, I wasn't going to remember why I wrote it down. And I should have wrote it down.
I don't know.
What
I
else
don't
did we
know
talk?
right now.
Oh, but I do have another good point.
What?
If you want to talk about this one.
I
Have
do?
you watched the reboot of Bel-Air?
No.
Oh,
You like it?
mother.
Well, first of all, I know
Yes.
that you are a huge Fresh Prince fan. And if
I
anybody has watched The Fresh Prince more than I watch you watch it, it's crazy because I don't understand that. It's from my generation, which I watched and I really enjoyed. I thought it was a good show, good family show. Um, but no, what's going on with it?
Who, first of all, love The Fresh Prince. I've seen every episode so many times. The only thing I could act out better than Babs is The Fresh Prince. So when the reboot came out, I was kind of nervous, not gonna lie, because I had expectations for it to be like The Fresh Prince. But after talking to a few folks who watched like the first couple episodes, they were like, listen, if you're gonna watch it, don't expect it to be The Fresh Prince. Go in with an open mind. So I did.
So it's
And
not.
so it has a lot of similarities. And I
Mhm.
mean, I probably noticed too many of them because of how much I watched The Fresh Prince, but it has a lot of similarities. They've taken a lot of the storylines from the original series, but they've made it to where it resonates with the current generation and what's going on in life and kind of the drama comedy that keeps people engaged. Because, you know, the original Fresh Prince was pure comedy.
Right.
They, of course, touched on a lot of topics, a lot of Black family issues, but they did it in the basis of comedy. And then they hit you with a few moments of like, oh, that's going to tug on your heartstrings. But this version is giving you like, okay, this is what people are going through today, right now.
Hmm.
And don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't watched it. But Jeffrey, I like this Jeffrey. Jeffrey ain't pick up a feather duster yet. He is the cleanup man. If you picking up what I'm putting down,
If you the cleanup
he's the
man.
house manager.
Hmm.
Okay. Jeffrey
So
ain't
they
cleaning not a windowsill, not a floorboard.
Well,
Mm-mm.
what about the other characters? How do they relate, or what are their little similarities to the original Fresh Prince?
So, Uncle Phil, of course, politician, very much a very similar storyline. The only thing is he's kind of struggling with getting, reaching his Black audience right now. So that's
Okay.
kind of a difference in his character from the original Uncle Phil. Will, very much a similar storyline. You know, got in some trouble in West Philadelphia, born and raised, moved to Bel-Air. Carlton, they had to make us like Carlton. See, in Fresh Prince, you took Carlton for as he was.
Mhm.
But in Bel-Air, I wanted Carlton to step on a Lego for like the first 5 episodes. But then he finally came around. So his character had a lot of development versus the original Carlton for sure. You see some development in his character, and I really enjoy how they did that take on that. And I love Aunt Viv. She's still an artist because
Mhm.
Aunt Viv was a dancer, but this Aunt Viv actually is a painter.
Okay.
And so I like the way they are showing her character because they're showing how she has to deal with being the wife of a politician and a mother, but also balancing her passion and making sure she's not losing herself in the other roles that she plays in life. And I think that's really important for women to see right now. So I like the spin that they have taken on the characters while still keeping a lot of the similarities from the other show.
You know
And
what?
Jazz got a job.
What? So he's
Jazz,
not getting thrown out the door and stuff.
I haven't seen not once. Jazz has a job.
Well, I'm
Say,
glad
come
you
on,
told me that
Jazz.
because I hadn't gotten an opportunity to watch it yet, but you kind of you got me interested in wanting to see it. And I like how you explain Aunt Viv's role, and it
Mm-hmm.
actually comes back full circle to a lot of what we were talking about today, women having to balance
Yeah.
life, their home life, being married to a high-powered man, and what that whole dynamic is.
Hmm. Yes, and I think in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, we kind of like, or at least me watching it as an adult, I was able to see like you can tell Aunt Viv was kind of like battling her roles, but she always put her family and Uncle Phil first in his career.
Mhm.
But now we actually get to see Aunt Viv kind of in that battle with herself, like, okay, how do I navigate this? How do I find my passion, keep going with my passion? And so I like the take on the realness that they're showing that women really go through, especially in those positions, when they're in the spotlight in politics. So I enjoy it a lot.
Awesome. So basically the whole take is, hey, maybe what we were talking about, our conversation of women trying to balance that whole situation of being with a high earner,
Hmm.
maybe they need to watch Bel-Air.
I think they should, because I think that's really important. Because, like I said, going back and like you mentioned as well, it's good to be, genuine, to be supportive, especially if that's the type of person you want to go for. But I also think it's important to remember to not lose yourself in another person as well. So
You're right.
finding that balance, that's something you learn as an adult that you feel like you should have learned before. How not to lose yourself in people. That's a good one.
You know what? That's so good. Until
That's a
I
good one.
think you need to write that down, and we need to talk about that and explore that a little bit more the next time. You know why?
Yes. Because we only got 5 minutes left.
Look at the time. We don't have five
I'll have to
minutes
watch out.
left.
Oh,
We've been talking over an hour already.
oops.
Oops.
Well, let me go ahead and type that in my notes now so I don't forget.
Go ahead and type that in your notes. We're gonna talk about what now?
How not to lose yourself in other people.
How not to lose yourself in other people, especially when that comes to relationships.
We'll
Well,
type that too.
I had fun talking to you. I think I just need to go ahead and get myself together, go home. I might get me a little
Oh,
snack tray or something like that and get ready to watch the Oscars now that I know
yes.
Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumacher is about to make me laugh. And
Mommy.
I don't know who's nominated for whatever, but in the good word of our sister Issa Rae, I'm rooting
Rooting for
for
everybody
everybody
black.
black. All right, y'all. Y'all be good. We're the Brown South Girls. We come to you when?
On the last Sunday of the month,
Yes, we do. At what time?
6 p.m.
So we will be back when?
The last Sunday of April. And I don't have that date for you this time because, April and March don't mirror like February and April. But
They
guess what?
don't.
Like February and March. But guess what?
What?
It's going to be on the last Sunday. The
The
last one.
last Sunday.
Hmm.
I love the people. Tell the people you love them.
I love y'all. Love y'all.
All
Love
right,
y'all.
y'all.
Love y'all.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you bye because I'm not gonna call you later after this. You go ahead and have
You
a
sure?
nice evening. Make sure you have a really good work week. I wish you the best. I really do.
All right. Love you, Mom.
I love you too. All right.
We didn't end it.